Affleck, who directed 2012's Argo, played real-life CIA operative Tony Mendez, who was Mexican-American. Miami Vice star Edward James Olmos told Deadline that Affleck should never have played Mendez, citing Michael Pena, Andy Garcia, and Jimmy Schmitz as actors who could have taken on the role instead. Brando donned yellowface to play Sekini, a Japanese man, in the 1956 film. He never publicly addressed his role in Tea House, but nearly 20 years later, he boycotted the Oscars in protest of how non-white characters were portrayed in Hollywood. He later appeared on The Dick Cavett Show and said, "I don't think that people generally realize what the motion picture industry has done to the American Indian, as a matter of fact, all ethnic groups, all minorities, all non-whites." The 2017 film features a character named Edwina, played by Kirsten Dunst. In the original 1966 novel of the same name, Edwina was biracial. The novel also included a black female slave character who didn't appear in the film. In response to criticism of the decision, director Sofia Coppola told BuzzFeed News, "I didn't want to brush over such an important topic in a light way. Young girls watch my films, and this was not the depiction of an African American character I would want to show them." Rather than bringing in an actor of Iranian descent to play the titular Persian prince in the 2010 film, Disney cast Gyllenhaal in the role. Nearly 10 years later, he told Yahoo Entertainment that he regretted taking the role, saying, "I think I learned a lot from that movie in that I spend a lot of time trying to be very thoughtful about the roles that I pick and why I'm picking them." In yet another instance of a comic book character being whitewashed in a film adaptation, Scarlett Johansson was cast to play a character who is Japanese in the original manga. Fans were torn about the casting. The Ringer pointed out that many Japanese Americans may find Johansson's casting in a Ghost in the Shell movie distressing, while native Japanese observers make nothing of it. While Jolie's portrayal of Marianne Pearl, a real person whose mother is Afro-Chinese Cuban and father is Dutch and Jewish, was met with approval by Pearl herself, many in the black community didn't appreciate it. It didn't help that Jolie wore dark brown contacts and a wig designed to resemble Pearl's natural hair, and appears to be wearing skin-darkening makeup. A year after A Mighty Heart came out, Jolie starred in comic book adaptation Wanted, as Fox, a character who was black in the comic series, and actually inspired by Halle Berry. Hartnett plays Alaskan Sheriff Eben Olson in the 2007 adaptation of the comic book of the same name. In the comic, the character was named Eben Olamoun and was Inuit. Mara played the Native American resident of Neverland in the 2015 Peter and Wendy prequel. Following the backlash to her portrayal, she told The Telegraph, "I really hate that I am on that side of the whitewashing conversation. I really do. I don't ever want to be on that side of it again. I can understand why people were upset and frustrated." Neeson played the Bruce Wayne mentor, villain who was portrayed as Middle Eastern in the comic books in 2005, and again in 2012. This particular instance is one of the most perplexing, because it's not just another time when a white actor was chosen to play the role of an actual person of color, or a character of color from a book. Allison Ng is a character unique to the film, and describes herself as being a quarter Hawaiian and a quarter Chinese, neither of which Stone is. It would have been very easy to just leave the line out, or just cast an actual Hawaiian actor in the role. Othello is one of the few characters of color in Shakespeare's plays, and has often been portrayed by white men in blackface. Fortunately, that trend seems to be coming to an end, but it was still in full force back in 1965 when Olivier played the character. Portman's character in the original novels the 2018 film is based on is specified to be of Asian descent, while Lee's character is half Native American and half white, something the filmmakers and actors have said they weren't aware of this at the time of casting. Although that just sounds like they didn't do their due diligence when researching the books, since all 3 books in the series came out in 2014, and casting didn't begin until 2015. It's based on the true story of Shantae Jawan Mallard, a black nursing assistant. Instead of casting a black actor in the role, director Stuart Gordon cast Suvari, who inexplicably sports cornrows in the film. "I would never rank instances of whitewashing, because they're all bad, but if I were going to, I'm pretty sure Rooney's portrayal of Iwayuniyoshi, a Japanese man, would be in the top 3 worst. It's just gross," and both director Blake Edwards and producer Richard Shepard have expressed regret over the decision not to cast an actual Japanese actor. Cleopatra has been portrayed in film many times, and Taylor is just one of the white actors to take on the role. Sophia Loren and Vivian Leigh are among the others to play the Egyptian queen. After being cast as Native American sidekick Tonto, Depp claimed his great-grandmother was quite a bit of Native American, though according to a biography about him, he's mostly of English descent, as well as French, German, and Irish ancestry. In the Marvel Comics, the Ancient One is portrayed as an Asian man. Something Swinton is decidedly not. While Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige later told Men's Health that they thought they were being so smart and so cutting edge, he said in the same interview that it was a mistake.